Wealth is built through owning assets. It's not built through having a big income. This is a big misconception here in America because most people in America are working for a bigger income, and then they use that bigger income to drive a nicer car and live in a bigger home. And that's why most of America is broke because, well, that car and home isn't putting any money in your pocket. But the few percent of people that are wildly successful, it's not that they're rocket scientists, although some of them might be rocket scientists, but a lot of rocket scientists are broke too. And the reason why is because, well, what wealthy people do, these are financially educated people, is when they make their money, they want to buy assets first. They want to own the investments because these investments will continue to pay you even when you're not working. There's a limit to how much you can earn from your job, but there's no limit to how much you can earn from what you own. And this is why the wealthiest people in the world are focused on owning more assets. See, we in this consumerism society are obsessed with spending. And look, there's nothing wrong with having nice things. I want you to have the luxury things. I want you to have the nice things. I want you to have the nice car. I want you to have the big home. I want you to go on the nice vacations. I want all those things for you. That's why we're working hard. That way you can have the nice things that money can buy. It's no fun to just have a big bank account and never be able to actually enjoy that money. But in order for you to actually be able to enjoy that, I want you to be rich first. I want you to be wealthy first. And in order for you to be wealthy first, that means you got to own the assets first. Because when you own the assets, if you have investments that are paying for all of your expenses, well, yeah, who cares? Go out and buy that expensive car. Go out and buy that expensive vacation. Go out and buy that stupid watch. It does not matter because you can afford it. At that point, it doesn't matter what the price is. You have investments, your assets that are paying for you to do that. But in order for you to get these investments, you don't have to be born a multimillionaire. You don't have to be born to rich parents. But you have to make that financial sacrifice to have more money to invest. You can spend less and you can work to earn more. This is where right now you got to figure out, how can you have more money to invest? The reality is most Americans are broke, not because of their incomes, not because of their boss, not because of the government, not because of banks, but because of the lifestyles that we have and because of the decisions that we make. Now, I know that's hard for a lot of us to hear because we never want to blame ourselves. It's much easier to blame everybody else. But when you're pointing your fingers and blaming everybody else, there's three fingers pointing right back at you. Now, we covered the story in Market Briefs recently, but the vast majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, as in more than 50% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And this is where most people say, well, if I earn more money, then I'd be able to solve my financial problems. But that's not the case, because what we've also seen is that the majority of Americans, more than 50% of Americans earning over 6 figures a year, more than $100,000 a year, are also living paycheck to paycheck. It's not how much money you make. It's what we do with the money you make. And what we've seen statistically is when the majority of Americans get a bigger raise, they get a bigger salary, they dig themselves into a deeper financial hole because now you have more access to spend. And banks look at you and say, oh, you're making more money? How about a bigger line of credit on your credit card? How about a bigger home equity line of credit from your home? How about a bigger cash out refinance? How about more debt that we can go out and spend? Now, what the majority of Americans do with that is they go out and they buy more liabilities, things that lose them money, things that make them look rich, right? You have all the fancy brand name stuff. You got the nice car, you got the big home, you got the nice vacations. And when you finance all these things, not only do you have to pay this money back, but then you got to pay interest, which means now your future income is being used to pay for yesterday's spending. And now you're living this rat race. You're working to spend, you're working to pay back the bills, and you're working to pay off the interest. And when you live in that cycle, you are never going to have the ability to get ahead. And this is where right now the most accessible thing that you can do, not the easiest, not the funnest, and not the nicest thing to do, but the most accessible thing that you can do is give yourself a lifestyle adjustment, which means now you got to cut back on some of the crap. Now, this is not fun, right? When you go from ordering the double guac at Chipotle and then you stop ordering extra guac, that's not fun. It's not as tasty of a bowl, but you got to find the ways now to cut back on your expenses. That might mean that you can cut back on your home. Maybe you live in a smaller apartment for a little while, for a couple of years. Not fun, but you can save a lot of money doing that. If you get rid of the BMW that you financed and now you go to drive a Toyota Corolla with cash, you're going to save a lot of money every single month, not just on the premium gas, not just on the insurance, not just on the maintenance, but also the monthly payments that you don't have to make anymore. And that's money that you can put directly towards your investments. When you get rid of some of the monthly subscriptions that you're not using, that are not adding any real value to your life, that's going to put some more money in your pocket. When you stop going out to eat so much, that's going to put some more money in your pocket. When you sacrifice a couple vacations, that's going to put thousands of dollars back into your pocket. Because right now, you got to get focused, right? We know the 3 things that are going to determine how wealthy you're going to become. We can't change the time, but you can change the dollars and the return. I haven't talked about the return yet, but right now we're trying to get more dollars into your investment portfolio because that's going to make you wealthier. How do you get more dollars in there? Well, you can spend less or you can earn more. And the most accessible thing that you can do is make the lifestyle adjustment. That way you can spend less. Yeah, earn more too. That way you have more money going into your investments. But the most accessible thing that you can do is you got to learn how to spend less money. That way you have more money just throwing into your investments because that's what's going to make you wealthy. And again, this is now fun. Your friends are going to look at you like you lost your mind when you pull up in the Toyota Corolla after you were driving the BMW 4 Series. But this is your time to shine. And then a few years later, once you work to build that wealth, now you can go out and buy that BMW 6 Series, and maybe you can buy it with cash. That way you don't even have to worry about the price, and now you don't got to worry about the payments. And then when you go to pump gas, you're not going to be stressing about gas prices, which is probably one of the most ironic things in the world. You see people go into huge debt to buy these fancy premium gas cars, and then you start complaining about the price of gas. If you're complaining about the price of gas, the problem isn't the price of gas. The problem is the car that you're driving. And so right now, you got to figure out how you can adjust that lifestyle that we have less money going out. If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide on how to start generating passive income for free. All you got to do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.